Let's just get right into it and show you guys this boat. All right, guys, so here she is, a 93 Cape Horn 16. Dude, I'm so excited. Oh my goodness. Yes. It's working like a champ. Baby, come look at this. It's not peeing anymore. All right, guys, we're back in the backyard, and I think the first thing I'm gonna do is find my toolbox. Oh yeah, it's on the back porch. We'll grab our toolbox and we'll come around, do some more tinkering. There's a lot of salt buildup on this prop and on this lower unit. We might scrape some of that off, but we will be focusing on these little fins right here. These allow water to go in and out. And we may even drop this lower unit and see if we can't get inside of there, take off this guy as well, get inside of here and knock whatever sediment or whatever else may be keeping us from sucking in water. And if we don't pull out a lot of junk, we'll be able to test, we'll be able to look at our impeller. Take that guy off as well. Look at our impeller, see what condition it's in, and then make a for sure judgment on whether we need a new impeller or not. So let's go ahead and grab our toolbox and then we'll get started. Let's go. Here's our toolbox. We had it out yesterday, but check this out. This is the Tohatsu engine that Mr. Al had on that boat, mounted up, ready to go in case he needed it. And we're gonna fire this guy up, not right now, maybe a little bit later, maybe another video, but we're gonna check and see if that guy works, which I'm sure it does. I'm super excited about that, by the way, you know, just to have that little guy. Who knows, maybe we might put it on a kayak or something. So let's get out here, let's do some more tinkering and see why that impeller stopped sucking or why that boat stopped peeing. Let's go. Alright, drop our toolbox here, crack it open, put our PPE on, unscrew this guy. Screws are coming out pretty easy, that's always nice. I think this boat could use like some salt away. Salt away is a nice chemical that breaks down the salt. I'm sure you guys got the gist of it. Alright, got the screws out of this guy. Here comes the moment of truth. Oh no, that one's not clogged. Huh. So that tells me something. Tells me that maybe our impeller is not functioning properly. Let's keep going. Let's keep taking this thing apart. Alright, so this little fin is dual purpose. It helps steer your boat in the right direction, but it also stops some of the salt corrosion from building up on your engine. So it's supposed to pull salt content away from all of your metal parts, like your prop and everything else that you see, how it's so built up and caked up on this engine. So this guy could probably use replacing. I may be able to soak this in something and get it to come back a little bit, but it's always best to replace your anodes and whatnot. So let's keep going. We got the lower unit all unbolted, everything that needs to be unbolted before we pull it off of here. We will need a mallet to go around and just kind of tap on this guy and make sure that it's going to come off of there fairly easy. And you don't want to hit these fins too hard because they will break off. So we're going to take our time. We're going to beat on this guy, and we're going to see if we can't drop this lower unit without damaging anything. So let's take out these last few bolts. You can see that this guy's already trying to separate at this point. So I left a few bolts in there just to ensure that if this lower unit did break free, it didn't just come falling out on the ground, maybe break that fin, which is very important for the motor. And I wanted to make sure that we didn't drop this guy on our toe as well. So just trying to be extra careful here while doing this. I have done this before on different engines, and this lower unit's going to be pretty heavy, so getting it back up here is going to be a challenge, but I think we're strong enough to get it up there. So let me get these bolts out of the way and we'll drop her down. Here she comes. There it is. And that's not nearly as heavy as I thought it was going to be, but here's our lower unit, and our impeller is going to be inside of this guy. So this is our water pump slash impeller, and it doesn't look as bad in here as I thought it would, so another relief. So we'll crack this guy open and then check out that impeller and see what's going on in there. Got the lower unit off.
How's it looking?
Not bad, but I won't know until I break into that little casing right there. But I'm gonna look inside under here. There's our water catch tube. That rubber's still good. Not bad. All right, guys, so this is exciting. I got some WD-40 here to kind of, you know, hit some spots right. So check this out. We'll hit this little guy right here, the shaft. We'll hit these shafts, because that's going to make all the difference when that thing has to retract. So some of that oil will get down in there. Let's just hit a few spots with this stuff. Hit the other side of these shafts. Make sure we're lubing everything up nicely. All right, so our next step is going to be breaking into this impeller. And I know this isn't the best working environment. I could easily lose a bolt or a screw working outside in this grass like this, doing what I can with what I got. Also, I got to be really careful with working with these parts that are often touched by salt water tend to corrode. And you know, you deal with rust, but corroded bolts are known for snapping off, right? So just a different level of frustration when you're doing this kind of stuff. You want to be as slow and methodical as possible, and try not to rush. That way you don't break anything. So let's get into this water pump and see what she looks like on the inside. All right, guys, starting to rain out there a little bit, so we moved our operation inside or under this patio here. So let's go ahead and just pull this guy off. It's been too long. Drop those two bolts there, and then we're just going to come off with this cover here. Let's check this impeller out. So here's the impeller. Doesn't look bad, honestly. So whenever that guy's in there, it's just doing its thing. It's spinning. Impeller looks new still, believe it or not. I'm not even gonna mess with it. I'm gonna leave this guy in here. This looks on the newer side. That is impressive. But let's get down here. A little bit of sediment there. That's like sand and shell. Let's get our screwdriver here, or maybe even one of these little picks. We'll pop this gasket off. Gasket still looks good. We'll probably run some water through this, through the pickup tube, as well as run some water through the engine. Try and flush some of that out up there. There's got to be something in there that's causing this thing not to pee. So it was peeing and then it stopped. So whatever was in there must have got jammed in there and caused it to clog itself up. I haven't really seen anything fall out yet, but there's got to be something, right? So we'll do that and see what happens, and I'll let you guys know. We got water coming out from every angle on this thing. Coming out really good down there too. So come from underneath. Should start seeing water come through there. Flowing really good there. I don't think it's clogged at the lower unit. Let's toss this hose over the fence. All right, we're gonna take this water and run it into the lower unit and run it up into the motor. See if we're just gonna go right into this pickup tube here. Yeah, see that hole right there with the tube? Should start getting water coming out from our pee hole, and there it comes. So let's pull this guy out. Looks like there's some sediment trying to come out. But that's a very faint amount of water. There's some sediment trying to come through. Oh yeah, we're getting some sediment coming out of there. Yeah, I think somebody ran it up shallow. I think that's from him coming in and out of the beach. See that sediment? That's sand and shell coming out of there. It's not completely clogged, but there's some stuff in there we need to get out for sure. All right, we're gonna take this cowl off, and I know there's a better way to flush this engine, but it seems like the water port is messed up. Looks like someone stripped something off in there. So we'll remove one of these anodes right here and see if we can't flush the engine some other way, right? So also this will allow me to inspect the anodes. This thing could have a lot of salt in it, so this will give you kind of a window inside of the water ports of this engine. Let's just keep chipping away at it. Okay, had to break that free, but check this out. Look at all the salt deposit on that guy. So this is why you want to change your anodes, and you want to change them often, because these guys are going to collect as much salt as they possibly can. This thing is all salt. Look at this. But once they fill up, they're very coarse, and once they fill up and get all filled with salt, then they can no longer do their job. So let's just chip some of this away. See, that's all salt. There you go. Just get most of that out. Grind some of that away. So as salt water is running through this engine, it's going to want to stick to all of the metal, anything that has an electric charge going to it, and that's just the way it works. So those anodes will help your engine from getting clogged up with salt like that in very, very important places, and just in general. So You can always run salt away and other things like that to ensure that your engine doesn't get too clogged up with salt. I'll look around for any other anodes and then try and pop those out as well. I might have to get on Google and look for a diagram, but let's keep chipping away at this guy. A little bit of corrosion on that water pump housing or thermostat housing. I think I want to pop that guy off and look in there. Again, you want to be careful with this. A lot of salt deposits causing corrosion. All right, moment of truth here. Look at that paint just coming off of there. Okay. There's that wire. Yep, got some salt caked up under there. And let's pull this thermostat out, if it'll even come out. Alright, finally got this guy pried open. And yep, you guessed it, she's in rough shape. So we'll be replacing this guy. Yeah, we'll be replacing that guy. And I think we're gonna run some salt away through this guy because it's just kind of bad. It's kind of bad. So it won't kill it. It won't kill the engine, but over time, if you let it get too bad, then it will kill the engine. So it's just important that you flush your engine, just knock some of it loose, and then we will come back with the hose and then flush a lot of it out. See what other ports I can find so I can flush that stuff as well. Alright guys, another trip to turn the hose on, but this time we're going to flush some stuff out. So I want to make notice of what's down there. Typically you could put a bucket or something underneath, but I'm going to look for shells or anything. I'm already seeing some, so already seeing some sediment. Gotta see some of that stuff. It's like shells and whatnot. It's going to be sand and shells coming out, as well as a lot of that salt corrosion. Flush some of that. Try not to wet up too much of my electronics, because that would be bad. Okay, it looks like we got a clog. We're just holding water on this side. That should be draining out. So let's see if we can't get that to drop in. That freed it up. Alright. Alright, she's draining out now. You guys see that hole down in there? That was the part that was clogged. Not sure where it goes, but we're going to try and shoot some water from the bottom now. Let's go. Then we'll run it right back into there. See where the water starts coming out. Oh, we got flow. We got flow there, and we got flow up top as well. A little bit of sediment still right there on the rim of that guy. Let's see if we can't plug some of these, get more water flow. Yep. Lots of water coming through there. Change the flow a little bit. I'm just plugging some of these best I can. Get more flow, less flow. All right, guys, I think that's enough flushing for today. We have got a lot of flushing done on this guy. There's still some sediment in there. There's still some salt in there, sorry. But I think we'll run some salt away through this guy at some point and just kind of clear everything else out. I think that's about as good as this engine pees. I'm not familiar with the 70, but we did get a lot of salt off of some of these tubes as well as some of these other fittings, and so I think we should be good. You can't get it all, that's for sure. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this guy up. Next, we're gonna be checking the spark plugs, and yeah, we're gonna be looking into some other stuff, but we know for sure that the tail lights do not work. It came with interesting setup for tail lights. We know we need new tires, like I said before, some anodes, thermostat, what else? We fixed the tilt and trim, so that's awesome. Don't need an impeller, which is awesome. So glad we don't need an impeller. Even though they're super cheap, it's probably the cheapest thing I would have put on this boat. But anodes and a thermostat. So I appreciate you guys watching. I'm super excited about this new little project. We're gonna be doing a lot of adventures out of this guy. So yeah, you guys will be there to come along the way and do some fishing with me. So if you guys haven't, be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're gonna be doing a lot of fishing coming up, and the water's warming up. It's spring. It's time to get out there and catch them. So we'll see you guys in the next one. I'm Vitamin D for Vitamin D TV, and I'm out. Peace.